Well, Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling and Ricky Gervais have proved that if you stand up to the woke, eventually you win. J.K. Rowling's book sales went from $7 million to $11.9 million worth last year.
J.K. Rowling and Ricky Gervais may come from very different creative worlds, but they share one thing in common. Both have shown that openly pushing back against dominant cultural trends doesn't automatically end a career. In fact, Rowling's recent financial success tells a striking story. Her book sales surged dramatically, reaching record-breaking levels in recent years. The creator of one of the most influential fantasy universes ever didn't just shape pop culture. She proved she could thrive even while facing intense public criticism. The aftermath of that clash has been nothing short of dramatic,
followed by a number of deliberately misspelled versions of the word woman. Now, there was instant backlash to that. She was accused of being transphobic.
So how did things reach this point? How did the author, who once symbolized escapism and imagination, become a central figure in a heated cultural debate?
Harry Potter came to me on a train in 1990. I was sitting just staring out of the window, and the idea just fell out of nowhere. It was the purest stroke of inspiration I've ever had in my life, and I've been writing about him ever since.
To understand that shift, it helps to revisit where the controversy began. Rowling first drew widespread attention when she publicly criticized Scotland's former First Minister, Humza Yousaf, along with proposed hate crime legislation. While the laws were framed as protective measures, Rowling argued that they failed to sufficiently consider the safety and rights of biological women. Her comments immediately sparked intense online reaction.
The beginning of the end for Humza Yousaf started when J.K. Rowling condemned Scotland's newly imposed hate crime laws, which extended to trans-identifying people but ignored biological.
She maintained that the legislation prioritized ideological goals over practical concerns related to women's spaces and protections. Social media responded swiftly, with strong criticism and accusations aimed her way. Rather than stepping back, Rowling continued to voice her concerns, warning that such laws could discourage open discussion and potentially penalize people for expressing legitimate viewpoints. Not long after, she found herself connected to a high-profile legal dispute tied to online harassment claims involving an Olympic athlete, which unexpectedly drew her into yet another public controversy.
أنا نوجه رسالتي لكامل شعوب العالم أنهم يكونوا متمسكين بالمبادئ الأولمبية حسب الميثاق الأولمبي وابتعاد عن التنمر على جميع الرياضيين لأنه هذا الشيء أثر ويأثر كثير وكثير.
The situation escalated further when several well-known figures, including Elon Musk and Donald Trump, were also mentioned in relation to the same lawsuit, making the story even more prominent.
Testosterone is not a perfect test. Many women can have testosterone which is in what would be called male levels and still be women. So panacea, this idea that suddenly you do test for testosterone and that's also everything, not the case, I'm afraid.
Although some speculated that Rowling was retreating from public view, that assumption didn't last long. When she re-emerged, she reiterated her position, particularly regarding fairness in women's sports. She emphasized that her concerns were rooted in competition standards and safety, not personal animosity. Despite renewed scrutiny, she remained consistent and unapologetic in her views.
A young female boxer has just had everything she's worked and trained for snatched away because you allowed a male to get in the ring with her. You're a disgrace. Your safeguarding is a joke. And ours Paris 24 will be forever tarnished by the brutal injustice done to Kari.
For Rowling, the issue centered on principles rather than popularity. Even as public pressure mounted, she continued to argue that redefining long-established competitive categories raised serious questions. Those expecting her to soften her stance found instead that she stood firmer than ever.
As you can see, this is the infamous tweet from Rowling, where she claims that she would want to be a martyr for the transphobic movement, writing, "I'd happily do 2 years if the alternative is compelled speech and forced denial of the reality of the importance of Bring on the court case, I say. It'll be more fun than I've ever had on a red carpet."
The controversy didn't stop there. Tensions grew within the entertainment industry when several actors associated with the Harry Potter films publicly distanced themselves from Rowling's comments. Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Eddie Redmayne each expressed support for transgender inclusion, positions that contrasted sharply with Rowling's own statements.
Daniel Radcliffe has admitted he hasn't spoken to J.K. Rowling in years and branded the fallout over their trans views as sad. The 34-year-old said,
Radcliffe issued a public message emphasizing respect for transgender individuals and acknowledging that Rowling's views had caused pain for some fans.
I have heard this. This is something that has come up every so often for the last few years, and every time it comes up, I'm like, that's not true.
Erasing the identity and dignity of transgender people. Plus, it goes against everything that professional healthcare associations have.
Watson used her social platforms to signal solidarity with the transgender community, reinforcing her stance through widely shared messages.
He tweeted, "Trans people are who they say they are and deserve to live their lives without being constantly questioned or told they aren't who they say they are." She went on to say, "I want my trans followers to know that I and so many other people around the world see you, respect you, and love you for who you are. Happy Pride, sending love."
Redmayne echoed similar sentiments, stating his disagreement with Rowling's perspective and affirming his support for transgender women.
I was so upset that Rowling was facing criticism for her anti-transgender tweets and her 3,700-word rambling diatribe against transgender people.
Rowling responded by expressing disappointment that individuals whose careers were closely tied to her work chose to publicly oppose her. She argued that her critics misunderstood her intent, which she maintained was focused on safeguarding women's rights. Around this time, another incident intensified the debate when activists contacted authorities over comments she made online, citing hate crime concerns.
J.K. Rowling to deliberately, and that is the key word, misgender me, knowing who I am, is grossly offensive. It is a hate crime.
The idea that a best-selling author could face potential legal consequences for expressing her views shocked many observers. Rowling responded by openly challenging the notion that her statements constituted criminal behavior, making it clear she would not be intimidated into silence.
There has been a huge backlash against the transgender community, and specifically transgender social media star Dylan Mulvaney, after they got a brand deal from Bud Light.
A beer is now promoting itself during March Madness, a male-oriented event, by hiring a man who says he is a woman dressed as Audrey Hepburn to sell you beer.
Whether you're liberal or conservative, you probably have some strong feelings about it.
Another major development followed regarding medical policies for minors. For years, Rowling had voiced concern about irreversible medical interventions for children experiencing gender dysphoria, emphasizing caution and the need for long-term research. When the UK's National Health Service later revised its approach to puberty blockers, supporters saw it as validation of her call for careful evaluation.
Not knowing where to turn, she went to a gender identity clinic and started treatment, including surgery, to become Quincy. 8 years on, she wants to transition back to being a woman and is suing the NHS.
It's such a serious process to go down, and it's so experimental because, doctors don't even know, the outcomes of a lot of these treatments that are given out. I should have been, told to wait and not affirmed in my gender identity.
Ideas that were once quickly dismissed by critics as dangerous or irresponsible began to receive more serious attention within medical and research communities. Developments in policy and healthcare prompted renewed discussion about long-term outcomes, safeguards, and the importance of careful, evidence-based decision-making when it comes to children's health. Supporters of Rowling pointed out that her concerns had consistently centered on child welfare, medical caution, and the need for open debate rather than hostility toward any individual or group. From their perspective, her arguments were rooted in asking difficult questions that many institutions were hesitant to address publicly at the time. As medical authorities revisited certain practices and adjusted recommendations, those defending Rowling argued that the conversation had shifted closer to the cautionary approach she had advocated all along.
Freedom of speech and belief are at the end in Scotland if the accurate description of biological is deemed criminal. I'm currently out of the country, but if what I've written here qualifies as an offence under the terms of the new Act, I look forward to being arrested when I return to the birthplace of the Scottish Enlightenment.
After years of lawsuits, widespread criticism, strained relationships within the entertainment industry, and relentless scrutiny online, J.K. Rowling remains firmly in the public spotlight. Despite repeated efforts to sideline or discredit her, she continues to publish successful work, speak openly about her views, and influence cultural discussions on a global scale. For some, She represents resistance to ideological pressure and a willingness to stand by personal convictions even at great personal cost. For others, she remains a deeply controversial figure whose comments warrant strong opposition. Regardless of where people stand, her impact on literature, culture, and public debate is undeniable. The discussion surrounding her raises broader questions about free expression, accountability, and how society navigates deeply sensitive issues. So what do you think? Has Rowling been treated unfairly, or is the criticism justified? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this analysis valuable, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more thoughtful commentary and media breakdowns.